I just think you're playing with tremendous fire having Jonathan on the team. I don't think that you can navigate that. I don't think that that's going to go well. Where the whole world knows that you signed him literally to still not keep him. You're trying to sign him so that you can trade him later and maximize his value. They will view the Warriors as messing with Jonathan's future. You and I had some very healthy debates with regard to simply the idea of whether or not it's smart to have Jonathan Kuminga on the Warriors this year. Not meaning like what you think of Jonathan as a player, but based on where we've arrived, which is Jonathan clearly doesn't want to be on the team, and the team has openly had trade discussions and sign and trade things, and he wants playing time, and they're not going to give it to him, and starting spots, all of the dynamics you know. Like, is it recoverable to have him be on the team and be a productive member of the team and not cause problems and make waves and all of that? So very relevant to us that Tim Kawakami reported that the plan is for Jonathan to be on the team. Sign and trade talks are off, and Jonathan will be on the team. And so I have two things to say about it, and the first one is a question. Do you buy that? Sign and trade talks are off.
For now, sure.
For now.
Right.
How long is now?
Now is until Sacramento calls and says, Malik Monk and an unprotected first. How you feel now, Mike Dunleavy? And he says, hold on, let me call the third team that I need to get involved. Hey, you guys still want Buddy Hield for a couple of seconds to Sacramento? Cool. All right.
Now, Tim and also Sam Amick, who has been writing about this a lot, point out that what you just said is actually also part of the holdup. It's not just about making that first rounder unprotected. The Warriors state they do not want to give up Buddy Hield or Moses Moody. They don't want to do that.
Well, I don't know how they go about doing that unless Sacramento wants to sign him to a bigger number than what they have reportedly been interested in signing.
Maybe the Warriors would like an unprotected first, but they're actually not that interested in Malik Monk.
That's possible.
Maybe they would actually like a lesser player and a better pick and then keep their guys. It sounds to me like that's what the Warriors want.
And that's fair. And so you asked me if I think that a sign and trade is off the table. I do for now, because what I've said all along seems to be the way that they're approaching it, which is we're not just going to take pennies on the dollar. We're only going to take an offer that we really, really like. And all the reports have been that offer that they really, really like involves an unprotected first-round pick and, like you're saying, something that can help them. So I think that they've reached a point with Sacramento. I don't think Phoenix is even in the conversation because they don't have any picks, FM picks.
Yep, not now.
So if the Kings aren't willing to, oblige, which is Keegan Murray or Keon Ellis or, who knows what the Warriors would really want, then...
No, I think they don't. Those players are all too... I mean, I know those are lower-priced players than
Keegan
Monk.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
But you'd have to pay him because he is in the final year of his deal.
Yeah.
So I think that for now, the sign and trade is off the table because I think that the Warriors and Kings have reached a point where they probably aren't getting any closer, and the Warriors are using this as leverage to Kuminga.
It's so funny. I think that's a fair assessment of it. I don't think that the sign and trade is off the table. I always look at these things one of two ways. First of all, you know this because I bring it up all the time. Why are we being told that? Why do we need to know that the sign and trade's off the table? Why are Sam Amick and Tim Kawakami being told that by the Warriors?
Because the Warriors want to send a message to Kuminga that it's either you take the qualifying offer or you take our deal, and if not, then we're chilling.
So, that's the one that I think everybody gathers. This is a leverage situation. It's part of a negotiation. So, no, I do not think a sign and trade is off the table. Here's the other thing that I always look at, though. When a report comes out and then the team does something that's the exact opposite, how embarrassing is that? Are they able to talk their way out of the paper bag? Look, Jordan Poole, he's going to be on this team for a long time. And poof, now he's a Wizard. Well, why'd that happen? And can you have a press conference and not sound like a fool? Now, first of all, with this particular report, the Warriors have not said anything out loud themselves. They're having other people do the talking for them. So that helps. But even if they were to own the statement, yeah, we said sign and trade talks are off, but then suddenly we pulled off a sign and trade. Would that be embarrassing? Would Dunleavy be able to have that press conference? What would he say? I would argue he would be like, well, yeah, we love Jonathan. We wanted Jonathan on this team. But it arrived at a spot where somebody was finally able to offer us something that we believe really helps this team in the future. And we also wanted to, of course, hear Jonathan's needs. And we really feel strongly that Jonathan feels strongly about this. And so, it's almost kind of against our wishes, but we're going to do it.
Yeah.
For Johnny.
For Johnny. We're doing it for Johnny.
We're doing it for Johnny.
And they never did say, to their point, that it was off the table.
No.
That's just reported.
Right.
So it's not a full backtrack, a full backpedal. And that's where, Kuminga has never said, I won't play for the Warriors.
Correct.
He's made it clear that he'd rather not. I mean, do you want to play somewhere else? I do.
No, I do. I
do, yeah. I mean,
would you play for the Warriors? Like, how would you feel? Yeah, I would. Here's the other thing, though. The third maybe reason that I really can't see sign and trade talks as off the table, and I feel this, and I know you disagree with me, but I just think you're playing with tremendous fire having Jonathan on the team. I don't think that you can navigate that. I don't think that that's going to go well. I think that he's going to be very upset, and I think that you are, in that scenario, treating him like such an asset, where the whole world knows that you signed him literally to still not keep him. You're trying to sign him so that you can trade him later and maximize his value. And the world will view that, and they already do. They will view the Warriors as messing with Jonathan's future, messing with his career. It's a terrible look, and I think sets the locker room dynamic off in a very bad space. And if you're of the opinion that it's like, yeah, but Mark, you're going to need him this year. Yeah, but will you have him? I know that it, quote unquote, worked against Minnesota in the playoffs. But at what point does Jonathan just go, no, I'm not your wind up 30-minute doll that you just get to use 3 times a month? Like, when does he do that? I think you're playing with tremendous fire. And I would, with every fiber of my being, suggest against it, if at all possible.
Yeah, if at all possible.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that you're going to take a crap deal just because you're afraid of the nuclear option. And
there will be a deal.
This is where you and I disagree about the ability to make it work between the two sides, because I do believe if Kuminga gets to a spot where there is no sign and trade, and he doesn't want to play on the qualifying offer. Maybe he does. He's going to bet on himself. He realizes that the best way for him to get what he wants, which is to play elsewhere, he can control that, and to get a lot of money, that is harder to control. But the best way for him to go about that would be to play with the right attitude, the right effort, and be a good soldier one more time, and try to make it so that in the offseason next year, when more teams have more money, his value would be higher than if he goes into sulk, pout, or me mode.
Oh, and I'm not even just looking at him. I'm looking at the Warriors, too. It's not just about sulking or me mode or whatever.
But I think that they need him. They need him. They need somebody to play minutes.
I know you think that they do. And I know a lot of people agree with you. And even if I agreed with you that you need him, I don't think that the person you actually need is not him. Like, he clearly doesn't do what whoever that human is that you want to play those minutes, you want them to play a certain way, and he's not doing that, and he wants to play a certain way, and you're not letting him do that, and all those things that we already know. And here's the biggest concern. It's not even necessarily about those minutes. It's about the whole framework of the locker room, the time they spend together. Monty Poole's driving to Tahoe. And he had what we thought was an interesting point as to why the Warriors did not sign DeAndre Ayton. So Monty is suggesting that the Warriors might be questioning the current status of their own culture. And that's why they wouldn't go after DeAndre Ayton. And if you are questioning, I don't know that Monty's right, but it's an interesting thought. And if there's anything to it, and you are questioning the current status of your own culture and its effectiveness in this moment, You're going to do this? You're going to literally take the lead story of the entire NBA offseason as it moves into August and September and have Jonathan Kuminga, who's flying reporters to Cleveland to tell them how badly he wants to get the hell away from this organization. You're just going to have him on your team, and everything's going to work out because we're the Warriors.
Well, I don't know if...
I don't see it.
I didn't hear him making reference to the Kuminga situation about culture. And DeAndre Ayton's an outsider, and Kuminga's somebody that they know. They've had him here for 4 years, and I would just rely on Kuminga's professionalism and his need to be professional, and also what you have here in Steph Curry and Draymond and Jimmy to a lesser extent because he's relatively new, but Steve Kerr. And if you get to a spot where Dunleavy knocks on Kerr's door in late September and says, we're at the end here, and JK, he's coming back. And I just looked, and it's the end of September when teams will report, and so you got about 7 more weeks to resolve this most likely. And if it comes down to that, I think that they can make it, maybe not thrive and be the best thing ever, but they can make it work. I have no doubt.
This is just Monty's perspective, though very tapped in, that he kind of got the sense the Warriors had less confidence in their culture than they have in the past. So I find it to be an odd time to then take on this project if Monty's onto something.
Yeah.
So this is, just another perspective. But, wow, I am so skeptical of the idea that this, and it's not even about Jonathan being on the team. I've never had an issue with Jonathan being on the team. But where we've arrived now, the idea that this is going to play out well, I mean, I hear you. I really do. You got more faith in it than I do, that's for sure.
Yep, and I think about the lesser of two evils, and if I'm in the front office for the Warriors, and the owner reportedly really, really likes Kuminga, so I think that that's a piece of it where, if the owner doesn't want to part with Kuminga, then the edict might be to Dunleavy and Kerr, hey guys, we're keeping him, make it work.